We are back. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? A lot has changed since the last episode. Earlier in the day that I'm doing it, so I'm looking more light skinned. Whatever. Take from that what you will. Anywho, more pressing matters. We got a 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 podcast title. So you know how for a long time this was just a podcast in the kitchen. Well, it is a pod. It's still a podcast in the kitchen. We still ghetto. But we have a title now. So as we grow and get more subscribers, get more viewers and all that, things will change. And one of the things that change is we got a title. So the title of this podcast is Dear World. The significance behind it. Back in the day, I used to do music, right? And one of the albums I wanted to do was based off of like what I was seeing around the world, what I had experienced, you know what I'm saying, what my friends had experienced, what we've done, oh man, anything you could think of, you name it, any experience we had, I wanted to make an album to kind of just like talk about everything and our feelings behind stuff. Just as a younger man, I think I might have been probably in my mid 20s, and yeah, I just wanted to document, you know what I'm saying, the stuff we were experiencing and kind of put it on wax, right? The same thing most artists are doing, right? You just take your life and write it down. So, Dear World was going to be as if a black man were to sit down and write a letter to the world about, all the questions he has. Um, why is this that way? Why is this way? Why can't I do this? Why when I do this, this happens? That kind of album. So, um, we have a lot of questions in this podcast. So there's a lot of questions that we answer, perspective based questions, right? Like, if you want to get the perspective of a black man, a black man, younger, kids, married, has seen a lot, done a lot. Like most black men, if you want that perspective, then you come here. You subscribe to this. If you want to laugh a little bit, you subscribe to this YouTube channel, right? And because some comedic content too. So, um, again, you probably don't know me, right? Because we're early off in the podcast life, but I am your comedic host. They ain't got jokes. I've been doing the podcast. This is my third episode. I do it with a buddy of mine who has a podcast right now as well, and his podcast is called Cheaper Than Therapy. His name is It's Moulin Rouge, and that's on all platforms. Let's get to it. We got questions. We've always been doing this. Questions, all that. I don't want to take y'all time. Well, any more than I got to. Right. So check it out. The first question that I decided to take. Got a whole list of them from you guys, but this is the question I want. These are the questions I want to answer, and we're gonna get into a live reaction to a video. I wanted to watch with you guys and see how you felt about it. It discusses um, how it is and some issues with that some women have in the world with not being conventionally attractive, which is tough because conventionally attractive is like the bare minimum. A lot of women will tell you. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into the first question. The first question is: has being strong become one of the biggest weaknesses black men carry? Um, yes. The reason, and I think for that, a lot of guys might say no, but I think the male ego um, is something that is created not all the time out of just everybody being confident in you, right? But I think the fragile male ego, which is different than the regular male ego, that's created by you having to just consistently be right. You have to be the strongest person in the room. You have to be the protector of everything, right? A lot of men are starting off. A lot of black men are starting off as protectors because there's no fathers in the household. So you're starting off as a pseudo protector. Now your mom is your protector in that scenario, right? Your grandma, grandpa, whatever, right? But what ends up happening is your mind makes you kind of start taking up that look. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it 100 times. It's a consistent thing. It's something that they go through. I had the benefit of having a mother and a father, so this is just something I've seen. Right? It's not an experience of mine. Um, but you tend to they tend to try to take on certain baggage. Again, the mom will tell you generally you ain't got to, but it's hard for yeah, it's hard for a young black man to sit. It's hard for anybody to sit up and watch their one of their parents, no matter which one, struggle financially or struggle in a relationship with somebody that might be abusive or in any situation at the gas station, at the laundromat, at the wherever. You know, it's tough. Um, I know that was a quick answer, but I think that answer is sometimes when people use that, when people go across a question like that, um, they think that, well, the black man is supposed to be strong, so that's a dumb question. Well, strength and masculinity have a weird relationship, in my opinion, and men and strength have a weird relationship. Sometimes the way that you want a man to show his strength isn't something he can do at the time. You have to allow men to be weak to learn to rebuild. If a man is never weak, he can't harden and rebuild. When does he do that? Nobody allows him to. So then you have bravado. And that's when you're mad because you got a man you thought was strong and ain't strong. Next question. What's one belief about black men that you think people accept without ever questioning? The biggest misconception and the biggest lie that I see online, I like to look at comments. You know, when other race women talk about black men and their love for black men, I like to look at the comments. I don't really care what she's saying. I just like to look at the comments to see who has the most to say. Right now, if it's members of her own race, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you will see members of other races show their whole ass on there, whole entire ass on there. The and one of the lines you will read on there will have to do with her end up being a single mother, right? So the biggest misconception, the biggest lie, I'm not gonna say belief, the biggest lie that some people believe about black men is that once you have a kid with us, you are now a single parent. I'm sure we could look up the numbers and verify that that's not the case. That's not the case. And when it was the case, it started getting better pretty quickly. You guys got to understand that. One of the things that killed off black households, one of them was the crack epidemic, right? None of you guys have ever, anybody watching this, if you're not black, you have never experienced anything and within your race as crack. You've never had somebody say, "Hey, welcome to America. Here's what we're gonna do. You just got done with slavery. You're already behind. But I'm gonna introduce a controlled substance into your neighborhoods that will limit you guys' access to money, um, unalive a lot of your children, and destroy the foundation that you guys are starting to build right now after slavery. Why? Who knows? Maybe I just don't like to see you guys grow. You know, maybe I don't like to see you guys do better. You know what I'm saying? It could be any reason, right? I mean, everybody believes, we all believe we know the reason, right? So I'm pretty sure in comments you'll see 1,000 different reasons, but you get where I'm going with this. So you have that, right? Many other things are at play at the same time, with redlining, all kind of stuff, right? But we do all these things to your whole race to limit you guys, right? And then it does a lot of what we want it to do. And then when we clean it up and get it better, some jackass on Instagram who doesn't have his own picture on his Instagram, and who he couldn't get close to a woman that looks like the woman in the Instagram video. goes on there and says, once you go black, you're a child single mother. Sir, I know it frustrates you. This is to anybody who gets mad when Asian women or Indian women or Latino women show love for black men. Um, if you don't feel, if you're not a member of her race, you shouldn't even, there's no discussion you need to be having. This doesn't pertain to you. But to the white guy that thinks it pertains to him because he thinks all women should like white men, brother, and not you're not a brother, but I'm gonna put it to you like this, bro. I don't know if you were the kid that got picked on in school and they ran through your pockets and robbed you and beat your ass every day, but try not to look like that kid because women don't want to marry you when you act like that kid. Like, don't act like a sucker, bro. There's no reason to. You don't have to. Stop getting mad because some woman that you'll never meet in your life, no matter how much you keep inboxing her, you keep sending her money and all that, and tricking off, is listen. It's not gonna happen. The women in your city don't want you. The women around your city don't want you. You done flew to other countries and had to pay for it, and you'll continue to have to because you're a sucker, and that's just the reality, right? And this is just a pep talk, one man to another man, or whatever you call yourself, right? And it is what it is. When I see, if I were to watch a video about, how much a white woman loves Asian men, I'm gonna go in the comments and read the comments, and then when I get done reading comments, I'm out of there. The video isn't even about me; it has nothing to do with me. So I don't know. I think there's a frustration there, right? And the fact that there's a frustration lets me know, that you sweet as relish, right? Next question: has the internet brought black communities closer together, or has it pushed us further apart? Um, I want to say the dominant answer for this because you can say little stuff and say, it helped us kind of plan certain things or communicate with each other, find family. Eh, I'm gonna say more than anything has divided us, and the reason why is because the thing that I see that's most quickly moving through the internet is black on black hate. Black men discussing how much they don't like black women discussing how much they don't like black men, and it's a hard discussion to have online. If you don't have people in front of you, you're not talking to people because then it's very one sided and it comes out as just hate because there's no actual context. I mean, there's context, but you're not having a conversation. You just say, "Hey, I hate you. Bye," and that's what these women are scrolling and seeing is men talk about how much they dislike them, and then men are scrolling. There's been times I woke up and turned on Instagram and the first video was uh, just destroying black men. And I was like, what? It just messed up my whole morning. I was like, what did I just wake up to? Wasn't anybody I followed. It just must have been something, once you watch that crap, that's what, the Instagram guys think you want to watch. So I instantly I instantly something disliked or whatever, press not interested or whatever I could do to not get that. you know and also be careful what you like, be careful what you press like on. A lot of us will press like on a lot of these videos, right? And a lot of these videos, they welcome that BS into your life, but also, people look at that. So if I see a video, right, and the video is talking about how hard it is to be with a black woman, right, to whatever, and mind you, every race has things that, like, I'm watching right now these two Indian women pull a couch out of a backyard, right? I know there's two men that live there, but they're doing okay. They're smiling, laughing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the guys are gone working. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? We hold each other so to such high standards, like we can't make any kind of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to digress, but this is the kind of stuff that I noticed. Like, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. You know, in my household, if I wake up and if I'm asleep and my wife is downstairs cooking or something and the trash is full, she don't like a full trash. She's not gonna come wake me up to take out the trash. She might wait if she feels like it, and I'll take it out the next morning or whatever. But it's not, if she wants something, that's the way I was raised too. My mom was that way too. When my mom wanted something done and she was the person that was looking at it, she just did it. You know, at night, at night, you know, if you see clothes that somebody needs washed, or if you know what I'm saying, you know that stuff you got to put something together, or take something apart, or to do it. It's just a thing to do. Now, can the other person do it? Probably, but it's you and that you got time to do it. Whatever, That's, as an adult, we look around the house, like there's things I can clean up around this house, right? I have a lot of time for this, but it is what it is. We hold each other crazy accountable, crazy accountable. So when I wake up and I see these hateful messages on Instagram to each other and all that, it's okay to talk about how, what's difficult about black men and black women. I think it's better that we do either amongst ourselves or with each other in like a podcast form, because it'd be hard when you go on there and you see it and it's you could tell that dude just got out of an argument with his girl, or she's fresh out of an argument with her boyfriend, and that's what she does when she wakes up and she says X, Y, and Z, and she says it to us, and we ain't got nothing to do with it. So now we feeling like shit. We feeling like, what I'm saying? It just, yeah, you can be, as a black man, you can open up Instagram and be told you ain't shit before you even press the scroll button. And you were like, damn, I come home every day, I work. I come home every day, I love my family, take care of my kids, love on my wife, and go to bed and recycle, rinse and repeat. But to that particular woman in Wilmington, Delaware or whatever, you ain't shit. Not because you really ain't, just at the moment. She'll meet somebody in a few months, right? But you gotta be, let's be real. This is the type of stuff that's said, right? And we've all done it. First of all, we've all done it. Let's not run around, act like we ain't did it. We all done it before. And so, but I'm saying we should be careful with the type of things we like, type of things we press like on. That's what I'm trying to make sure that I'm more conscious of, because that gets, when I like it, it'll get pushed to some of my viewers, right? And it's like, I want to mess up your damn morning too. These are just thoughts that go through my mind, man. Dear fucking world. That's why I named it that. Are we teaching young black men? This is our next question. Are we teaching young black men how to build wealth or just how to make money? I'm trying to diversify my questions, right? I'm big on like I'm big on entrepreneurship. I'm big on building wealth. I'm not a guru. I'm not the all knowing whatever, but I think a lot of us as black people, we don't know about a lot of the things that are out there to help us build wealth. We don't know about them. And there's different reasons why, right? I'm gonna put it to you like this, right? I got a buddy, a colleague colleagues, so somebody I work with, and what the brother said to me one day kind of let me know everything I needed to know about, how it is for us, as black people. Um, yeah, man. So listen, I was telling, we sit in the car, I'm training him or whatever. I think at that time he was just learning how to ride around and like handle his workload and all that, right? So we're driving around, we're doing a training or whatever. And I told him, I said, hey man, do you what you know about stocks? Do you invest? And he was like, nah, man. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what's wrong? What's up with investing? He was like, man, they'll take your money, bro. You just lose all your money. And I looked at him because we had just finished talking about shooting dice. So I'm thinking in my mind, this man shooting 7-11, and he, you know what I'm saying? you shooting dice and you're worried about losing money in the stock market. So I told him, I said, hey, in the stock market isn't a place where many illegal things happen. Can't nobody pull out a gun on you and take your money and rob you right then and there because you whacking them on a dice game. You know, um, you don't have to worry about somebody side betting and getting mad because you're on whack and they side betting and all that, right? You mess around and don't hit the one time. You don't have to. I'm going down a list of different things. Right? These are just scenarios I've seen. Whatever. He's the dude that he's the dude that play dice. I'm not the dice player. You know, I'm just trying to like say something that get him thinking. So then I start talking about blue chip stocks, all that kind of stuff, right? Blue chip stocks are, your Pepsi Cola, things like that, that companies that have been around for a long time and have historically trended up. They've historically made more money over time, right? I start bringing up I think I Googled some of them on my phone or something. And he just was not interested. And not to say that there's not more things that he could be interested in that have to do with making money, but this is the thought process of a lot of honestly young black men when it comes to this because we come from places where we're not told that certain things are options for us, right? It's called white people stuff, right? And that's where the money is, evidently, because we ain't finding it, right? So in reality, I start gaming them up on all that and teaching them, whatever. I just telling them stuff. He's a grown man. He's smart. It's just I have to start telling him all this stuff and explaining him all this stuff because if I don't, he won't know what the hell I'm talking about. So that right there is a big example as to why it's to, like us. We're not teaching each other how to build wealth. We're teaching each other how to just make some money. Shooting dice, you could possibly just make some pocket money, right? Some dudes literally go outside, whack in a dice game, double their money, go shopping, go buy something, come back and try to. That's just literally their hustle. In between, you know what I'm saying, selling whatever or stealing whatever, they're shooting dice. A lot of dudes go hit a lick and come back and get whacked in the dice game and lose all that money, right? You just funded everybody else in the neighborhood. So that's what happens, man. That's called gambling for a reason. Stocks are not a gamble. Not a gamble, man. Way more of a chance of you making money with stocks and being able to save it and keep it and not lose your life over it, over having it, over winning, right? You can invest in some shares of Pepsi Cola and in 5 years have double your investment and Pepsi Cola ain't gonna pull up on you and try to air you out because you made some money off them, right? This is just me trying to be honest with you, I'm telling you how it is. So think about that when you I need you to think about that when you when you think about wealth, right? That's how we look at building wealth. He thought that was worse than shooting dice. Let's keep it a buck, fellas. And ladies, I ain't gonna lie. Um, I feel like you guys are a little better. I feel like you guys are a little bit better. I really do. It's just my opinion. I don't have proof, but that's what I feel. Last question. Last question. Are modern relationships asking too much from one person? This was a so okay, I'll read it again. Are modern relationships asking too much from one person? This is how I take this question. Y'all let me know. Um, you know how you have when people are saying, hey, I want a relationship, I want a real relationship, whatever, this is what's going on. They're saying I want the men to pay for everything, and the men are saying I want the women to be soft and what's the other, basically to the point where they're easy to control, which is what they're saying that they're saying. I don't know. You know what I mean? Depends on the guy. Some guys, they're not saying they want to control you. They're just saying they want you to listen to them at times, right? If you want them to lead, right? So a whole list of things that men want from women and women want from men. Is it asking too much from one person? It's asking too much from both people. Modern relationships are asking too much from both people. Both. Period. Both. That's just my opinion. You can take that to the bank. I'm gonna take it to the bank. It's asking too much from one person. If you want the man to pay for every little thing that you do, you don't want to come out your pocket for nothing, and you're just in a relationship. You're all just boyfriend and girlfriend, so you want him to be your husband, but not be your husband. You want that girl to follow you into the mud. You want that girl to be there for every little thing. You want that girl to cook and clean and do all these things for you. Y'all ain't even married yet, right? And half the time, y'all gonna end up cheating on each other anyway. You really are. Somebody gonna cheat on somebody. With the way that these relationships are, somebody gonna cheat on somebody. I'm not sure who, but somebody is, right? Let's be real. Y'all ready for a video? Y'all ready for a video? This is string cheese. I mean, my son gonna be mad. I call this daddy tax. I pay the bills. I bought the cheese. I bought it. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? That's what I'm saying. So anyway, I told y'all about the video a little bit earlier on in this video. Um, this is something that I'm gonna do from time to time, but this video is basically um, this is a discussion that women are having. It's a video a woman did, um, and it's a harsh reality to an ugly girl's life, right? And these are women that are not conventionally attractive. Conventionally attractive, I think there's a slight nuance to that, different depending on who you are, whatever, right? Um, I also think that conventionally attractive changes on a race scenario, right? I believe that black men and black women um, uh, have a different understanding of an unconventionally attractive white woman or white man, right? I believe we don't hold other races to the same standards, beauty standards as we hold ourselves to. I'm gonna just throw it out there because Kimberly and Kyle have not been looking nothing like what you want Deontay and Lucretia to look like. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Lucretia got to have her shit all done up. Everything got to be on point. Everything got to be clean and nice. Deontay's shoes got to be white. Deontay's shoes got to be clean, pressed. Everything got to be on point, or it's not giving, right? Just throwing it out there. Something ain't right. But yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna split the screen.
I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on how frustrating it is not to be conveniently attractive.
Oh, I'm so ugly still.
I will never reach the standard of beauty.
Imagine being average and ugly and everybody also hates you.
Being ugly will set you free.
It's definitely my nose. Like, look at that. It looks so much better without it.
Women hate ugly women.
If you are ugly, that's okay. If you are ugly, that's okay.
So this is not a video about how to look prettier, steps on how to be conventionally beautiful. I want us to sit down and discuss a little bit about our discomfort with being ugly. So I came across
Real quick, y'all saw did you hear a little while ago? I caught it kind of late because I'm fumbling with string cheese. But did y'all catch it when one of the women said, "Women hate unattractive women"? I've always said that. I don't know why that's the case. I've always said that because I look at I'm looking at comments. I'm like, why are women judging Beyonce so hard? Why are they judging um, the different beautiful women in the world so hard? And also, why don't they let other non-attractive women do the same thing? Like, why can't they have a regular looking singer? You know, you cannot reach Beyonce's level without being extremely attractive, almost perfect. You can't. And it has nothing to do with me. Men don't listen to Beyonce. Men don't decide we don't decide any of that. If I was an A&R, right, as a male A&R, I would know, hey, dang, if she's not bad, you know what I'm saying? If she's not bad, she will not make it. Glorilla is probably the ugliest thing that I've seen make it. And she didn't come in the same way. She came in the back door. She came in through the hood and came and slipped in there real quick and did her thing, right? And immediately got like work done. You know what I'm saying? But like you got girls like Scarlett, right? Scarlett is attractive to me. Like I understand she got the scar thing on her lip, whatever, but like pretty eyes, pretty smile, body's on point. Like to me, that's just my opinion, whatever. But I don't set the beauty standards. I'm not who she's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not who she's selling to. But let's get back into it. I'm not going to talk too much on this. I just wanted to, especially seeing that this is about how women feel, right? So this is more about me learning than anything. So let's get back into it.
First, this video of this girl expressing her frustration with not being conventionally attractive. And I want this video to be more than just us saying, oh, you're beautiful, but she's so beautiful. Why doesn't she believe that she's so beautiful? Because if you have been in that situation before, you know exactly how hard it is to believe anybody that says that. You know how hard it is to take a compliment. Because even when people genuinely mean it and it's not coming from a place of pity, it's quite hard to believe it. And I too suffered from, feeling not attractive for a very long time, growing up, because you hear a lot of negative things coming from people around you. And no matter how strong you are as a child, that is going to affect you. And it might actually also go on to affect your adult life. I was thought I looked like a boy. Why is your head that big? Why is your forehead box shaped? Why do you look exactly like your father? Why do you look exactly like your brothers? And for a very long time, I let that affect me. And it also didn't help that throughout high school, grade school, really, I always had my head shaved and cut, really. It wasn't really shaved, but it wasn't really like combable hair. And for a very long time, I felt very insecure about how I looked. And that went on into my adult life, feeling a way about myself. So much so that when I could finally grow out my hair or wear wigs and, extensions, I opted for hairstyles that wouldn't, first of all, show my head shape and also hide it. So I'll be in these curly crochet hairstyles most of the time. Really anything to hide my head shape and also hide the forehead. You would never see me in any corner hairstyles ever. And obviously I don't feel that way now. So when I went back home wearing cornrows, some lady at church said to me, you look exactly like your father. And this way it didn't feel the same way it did those years back. I was like, of course I look exactly like my father. Of course I look exactly like my brother. Why wouldn't I want to look like my family? And I say all that to say that while it's actually great to remind people that they are beautiful, they still may not be mentally ready to accept or believe that yet. So I don't want to make that kind of talk the focus of this video. I want us to talk a little bit more about this than just reminding them that they are, even though she is actually very beautiful, but I don't want that to just be the focus of this video. Anyway, this is what she had to say.
I saw a couple videos talking about this, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on how frustrating it is not to be conveniently attractive in this day and age specifically, and also not knowing anything. So I'm 21. I don't know how to do my natural hair. I don't know how to do makeup. I don't know how to dress. And it's not that I don't want to do these things. I want to, but no one realizes how hard it is, especially like when you ask for help and people are just like, well, do what makes you happy. Where would you want to be happy? But the point is, I want to be happy wearing new things and not look like a fool. I want to wear makeup but not look like a clown. I want to do my hair, but I don't want it to look bad, And when you ask for guidance and stuff like that, it's just so hard. And you try to look up online, and when people don't look like you, they look conventionally attractive, it's so much harder because you're like, this will never look as good on me than it does on them.
Hello, dear. I realize this video is a little old, but it just came across my For You page, and I want to speak to you about accepting being phenotypically Black. When I hear you say that you find yourself ugly, it makes me sad because we share similar features. And I want to talk about my journey of accepting being a phenotypically Black person. Because let's face it, when people gave me advice on how I could look better, or if they made comments about my features, it typically was going to be, why don't you relax or straighten your hair, or why don't you consider rhinoplasty? And I feel like basically these comments are made to try and force me to move more towards ambiguity or move more towards whiteness, as opposed to being a phenotypically Black person. And my experience with this is, when I was younger, I didn't really care very much about it because my brain wasn't wired that way. I could see very clearly a separation between what I knew other people felt about me and how I felt about myself. And I always couched my self-esteem in intelligence rather than appearance anyway. I felt like my appearance was just, the cherry on top of all of it. But when I got older and it did start affecting me, I closed off all my social media to people who didn't look like me. When brands would advertise curly hair products, but it was only for curly hair, not kinky hair, I blocked them. If there were certain models that I was following or IG personalities I was following, I had curated my Instagram page to look just like my hair texture and my features. I even blocked Michaela Cole when she got her nose job because it was so disappointing to me. And then I would stand in the mirror completely naked and really taking stock of all of my features. What do I like? What do I not like? Why do I feel that way about myself? And just having a little self-inventory. And out of that inventory, what I decided was I didn't care for the fact that I didn't have any eyebrows, so I did decide to go ahead and get microblading done. But I decided that I like my nose. I like my nose because it is a connection to where I come from. I like my nose because it is different. I like my nose because it's how you know me, right? And it doesn't bother me at all. No one who says anything about my nose on here, because I do get mean comments about my nose, none of them are really affecting how I live, affecting how much money I make, affecting how my friends feel about me, affecting my love life in any way. So I think that once you take stock of your features and decide for yourself, really, really, really analyze, where is this feeling coming from about myself before you decide to change anything, that you'll start feeling a little bit better about being phenotypically Black. And on the style issue, it's okay to experiment. Every style that you try, every makeup that you try, every hair product you try is not going to work out. It's okay for things to not work out and to just experiment with things. But moreover, what I really want you to know is that you're not ugly. You're just on a path to accepting yourself. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a beautiful path for you to go on. It's going to be a beautiful place where you come out of it.
Everything she just said is so spot on, and I truly believe that if you choose to become willfully blind to the negative and just double down on the positive, you will begin to see the beauty around you and also in yourself. And it doesn't necessarily have to be negative things, bad things altogether. It just has to be you surrounding yourself with something that you're familiar to, some people around you that look like you. And she's right, especially when it comes to, personalizing your online space. You want to make sure that the people that you're looking like look like you. One way I do this personally, whenever I go onto TikTok, is I always type in short forced hair natural hairstyles. And I'll go scroll through one or two of them before I go back to mindless scrolling or whatever I wanted to do that time. Yes, once or twice there may be a 3B, 4B girl on there, but mostly my feed is personalized to me, to my hair length and also my hair type. So I'm seeing people that look like me, people that have the same hair as me, style their hair and style it so beautifully. Yes, once or twice there may be those girls that come on to cry about their hair, and I'm not invalidating anybody's feelings, even though some of it is just rage bait. But there are people that still are struggling to figure out their hair. I am too. There's going to be that, but there's also the beautiful side of seeing other people style the hair that you have in beautiful way and literally embrace it the best way they can. And that also goes for makeup and dressing as well. Look at people your size, look at people your complexion, so you see how they're doing it. But while we're still experimenting with our hair, makeup, and whatever clothes fit us better, I feel like it's very important to not be hyper fixated on appearance, so much so that it actually ends up silencing your personality. And I understand that pretty privilege is a thing. Please believe me when I say people will most definitely treat you different if you are not conventionally attractive. But if having to look pretty is more draining than you have the strength to deal with, then maybe you just have to come to a point where you make up your mind and say, okay, I'm just going to free myself and be at peace with it. And in my opinion, that is one of the best signs to actually build yourself worth.
There is nothing that will make you truly happy that requires you to become beautiful first. That is a quote from a Substack essay that I read last night that made me look inward in a very uncomfortable but necessary way. This essay, written by Paris Mwenda, is titled "Being Ugly Will Set You Free." And it's all about the exhaustion that comes with the pursuit of beauty and chasing this beauty ideal. And she's proposing that becoming ugly is no longer being engaged in that.
I'm gonna just throw this out there real quick. She looks attractive. Like I don't see I don't see what makes her life different. I mean, this looks like a conventionally attractive woman in front of me. I don't know. We all have different levels, I guess, but slim face. I like a chunky face too. Brown eyes. Her eyebrows are arched. I know sometimes women be complaining that they can't get the right arch in their eyebrows. Hair's done. I can see her scalp, so I know her hair is done. She's slim, so she's not fighting against being obese. Teeth are gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know what that's a conventionally attractive woman to me. Let me put a little bit of input in here. Not that they're not hitting, they're hitting. Yeah, I'm learning a lot. Like the inner workings and like what goes through women's heads, right? I think the downside about not being conventionally attractive is not just you don't pull men. I think that is what ties women to the type of men that they can pull. Like in your mind, in your heart, you know the kind of man you want, and you know what he does and where he would be at, but you also then know what he likes. And imagine not being what he likes. As a man, it works a bit differently, right? Because in our mind, we are a lot of what a lot of women don't want. A lot of us are what some of the women we want, we are what they don't want, right? And I think what we end up doing is we just hunker down and we still get out there, we still get scrappy, and we still will holler at you, which is why if you're a woman watching this, you've probably been hollered at by a dude that's like, you're like, why are you even? Because there's a chance that you go, oh, he's cute. You know what I'm saying? We don't know your taste until we find out. So I think men as the hunter gatherers, I think for us, that's how we look at it. We look at it a bit differently because we kind of have to, right? We don't really lower where we go holler at as much. We know like we know where our level is, but we just go above it just cause. We don't feel generally that we're not defeated if we don't think we can pull up, above our level, quote unquote. Right. So as a woman, I can picture you can, however, let me know if I'm wrong, but I can picture a woman feeling, frustrated because it's like, these are the kind of guys that I want to talk to, who I want to talk to me because they're coming to me. And none of these guys are looking at me and thinking that they're on my level, but they're not. When in reality, they are on your level. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, right? But personality holds a big toll in all this, but personality comes later, and that's the downside. It's like, you know what I mean? A lot of this, I can see how this is frustrating.
Pursuit. When I ask myself what I really want in life, these desires revolve around career, love, accomplishment, etc. I realize that I have an internalized belief that my success in these areas is partially dependent on how beautiful I am. In a way, that's true. But I think on social media in the last few years, there has definitely been more discourse around concepts like pretty privilege and skinny privilege, and this idea that if you're beautiful, you can get anything you want in life. And I feel like it has infiltrated my brain because I wasn't always so focused on my physical appearance. Another interesting thing that this essay made me realize is that in modern Gen Z culture, it has become acceptable to be passionate about beauty, simply beauty, all things beauty, hair, makeup, skincare, etc. But not in the way that like a makeup artist or a hairstylist would be. It's like a personal passion for beauty and self-development and glowing up. I've considered myself one of those people for years now, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But after reading this, I'm compelled to really think deeply about whether I would still be passionate about beauty if I knew that there was nothing to gain by obtaining it, if there was nothing at the end of that road. And I think being a model has also forced me into some intense introspection about what I truly care about and whether beauty has to play a role in it. If it does, will I really be happy if I only earn something because of my appearance? She ends the essay by saying, living in the ugly is horrifying, but it's a peace that bodily obsession could never afford you. I absolutely loved this essay because it felt like an examination of the female thought process. And it touched on so many things that have been brewing like under the surface of my own mind for a while now, but were hard to articulate, maybe because of the cognitive dissonance that I have because of what I've chosen to do in my life, as well as the paradoxes that arrive whenever I do try to articulate these things. And by that, I mean two things can be true at once. It may be true that being ugly will set you free, but it is also unequivocally true that beauty can open doors. So I highly suggest that you guys go read this. Paris, if you see this, amazing work.
And can we also talk about how pretty privilege will only take you so far? There has to be more to you in order to stay in these spaces that pretty privilege allows you to walk into.
If you are ugly, that's okay. Yeah, I said it. If you are ugly, that's okay. Because society has all these definitions, baby, of beauty and all these standards that are really based on the most terrible things and the most inaccurate ideas on what life is really supposed to be about. And when it comes to you defining the quality of your life based off of your looks, you're in the wrong. Because at the end of the day, you can be ugly and still get everything that you've ever dreamed of. You can be ugly and walk on this earth and still get all the loving, honey, that you've ever desired. You can be ugly and love yourself more than a pretty person. You can be ugly and have just the most beautiful life circumstances fall into your lap because guess what? Life didn't create beauty standards. Society did. Work with life and you will gain love and beauty as it is. But when you in this society, you just can't ignore the standards because they impact you and they hurt you and your life. So if you want to cry about it, I invite you to do so. But don't believe the lies. If there's one thing that you can control that part, okay? Okay.
And another thing I feel like is very important for us to do is to actually be around people that want us to be around them and know people that you have to improve.
Hey, first of all, that was bars. Whatever the sister was just saying, like the sister was just saying over there, that was bars. Also, I see that she's severely overweight. I'm not the slimmest myself. I'm currently on my on my weight loss journey right now, aka GLP-1. But that's what I see from her. I don't see ugly. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out there. Again, I'm not I'm picky. A lot of stuff is ugly to me. So I consider myself picky, right? So that's it. But I don't have an issue with phenotypical black traits. I don't have an issue with like the sister's nose, right? That's a big nose because she's black. I'm also black. My nose isn't the smallest. My wife's nose isn't the smallest. My mom's nose is not the smallest. My mom's got a bigger nose as well, right? My dad's nose is probably he's got a small nose, right? But again, for me, I just don't have that. I don't have that that is the thought process to me. Like, when they say like this sister right here is African, right? There was a point in time where I was like, listen, I'm done with black women. I'm done. But you know who I wasn't done with? Black women. Because I realized what I actually meant over time. I actually was just done with American women. It wasn't even black women. Because I was like, man, if I just went to like Africa or something, I could find me a baddie and settle down in Africa. Probably like Ghana, or because Ghana's super developed, Nigeria, you know what I mean? Uganda, super. Like, I'm just going down a list of just these different places, right? And of course, all these places have they have gorgeous women. South Africa, all these places have gorgeous women, right? And you have like your Dominican Republic, you have your, whatever. Haiti is kind of a toss up because not the best situation going on over there. But there's black women all over. There's Garifuna women on the coast of Nicaragua, and there's black women everywhere. Um, and it's the attitude of the person, the mindset of the person, right? If you're an American black woman, you're done with black men, chances are you can go to another country and get you a black man and be cool, you know. But that's when I realized that, you're not really, because you just want other black women. You know what I mean? It's the mindset. But also, you do have to love black women too. If you don't love black women, that wasn't for you. Um, Again, the phenotypical black features are great. One thing that I always forget about, and this is what one of the sisters said on here, but one of the points she was making, I always forget about the difficulty for unattractive women, black women specifically, in the workplace. Um, Unattractive black women in everyday social situations, right? We're not talking about, I think I have a bad habit as a man of thinking that we always talk, that it's always about dating and it's always about, people being in relationships and stuff. And that's not the case. A lot of the times it's about other stuff, right? A lot of the times it's about family life. I mean, if you're not the prettier sister, see what I'm saying? You're not the prettier cousin. You're not the prettier basketball player on the team. You're not the prettiest singer in the group. Like, yeah, they put Beyonce at the forefront, right? I was, I don't know, I might have been. Don't give me the line, but I could have been maybe early 20s when no, actually, no, before that, probably 15, 16-ish, when I realized Beyonce wasn't even the baddest one. Kelly was. Have you seen Kelly Rowland? Kelly Rowland. It's just, I know when they're talking about beauty, they're talking about Beyonce because her skin is more fair. They both pretty much have the same features. I mean, maybe Beyonce's nose might be smaller or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But Kelly don't have big full lips and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It just, I think her skin tone is what put her out there. And she wasn't the lead singer. You know, and that's just the reality. The other sister on there, whatever. I say I'll put Solange in her place. But anyway, nonetheless, this is a tough watch, but I'm learning a lot from it. We only got a little bit left. I'm gonna let it run through here and take a look. See,
In order to be around them, because it can get draining to be the one that is always giving, be the one that is always being over considerate, and just have everybody else step over you. Because unfortunately, that's one of the habits that comes with feeling that way about yourself. Everybody tells you cannot be ugly and mean. Well, really, most of the times you're not even being mean. You're just trying to stand your ground and not let people walk all over you. but you do it anyway. You overcompensate anyway because in your head you're like, what else do I have going for myself other than being kind? And that's why it's very important to surround yourself with people that do not make you feel like you need these extra traits in order to afford to be around.
Women hate ugly women. Let's talk about it. Now, me personally, I've never actually experienced this simply because I don't really surround myself with people that are A, very insecure, and B, very superficial. When you have a personality like mine, you can't be with the girls that are just image, because they will look at you and just kick you out the group. But when it comes to these girls, they deem looks as a form of currency. They basically think that you don't need anything in life apart from your looks. How pretty you are determines how much you're gonna get out of life. They basically think that they don't need a degree because of their looks. They don't need money because of their looks. Do not mind these types of girls because respectfully, it's only gonna get you so far. I've said this before and I'll say it again, your looks will only get you so far. Am I saying don't take care of yourself? Absolutely not. Do what you wanna do to make sure that you feel the best that you feel. And if that means, spend a little bit of money on your hair, your makeup, your lashes, do that. But do not rely on your beauty. Like I said, if you actually want stability, your looks are not going to give you stability because your looks are not going to give you a degree. Unless you think that you're going to sleep with your lecturer and your examiner. Are you going to sleep your way through life? That's a bit bummy. Sorry, Bonnie Blue 2.0. Don't pay these types of girls any attention. Promise you, they are the aunties that call you fat every time you enter the room. They're them bitter aunties because they used to.
Well, this is on a playlist, so I don't want to let it keep going and go to the next video. But yeah, yeah, I believe a lot of what I saw in high school between black women uh, had a lot to do with being attractive, and the women that were not attractive just could not hit that ceiling of like popularity. You know what I mean? I think the most popular girl in my school was a super light skinned, short hair girl. Wasn't known for fighting. She was very ladylike. Always had on perfume or that, or she just always smelled really good. I remember she used to sit by me, you know, super light skin. Um, yeah, very girly, and she would do her makeup in class and look at herself a lot in in the little mirror or whatever. I don't know. That was her thing, you know. Then there were also women in class that were a little bit more grungier, right? They, again, we have to remember this is high school. People are trying to learn how to be adults. They're not there yet. But you have some girls that had to grow up a little quicker. And I think women like that had to grow up a little quicker, right? And I think a lot of when you see girls like that when you're in high school, you start to think, hey, why isn't that girl doing that? I remember this one girl transferred from, she was not a sister. She transferred from, somewhere a couple hours away from some school, a couple hours away from where we were, right? And that was the first time I had seen a pedicure and manicure on a girl my age. I had never seen that before. Rings, wrist rings, jewelry, makeup done, hair done, feet and nails. I'd never seen that before. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's how like a girl's supposed to look. In reality, it's how a girl can look, not how she was supposed to look, right? And she got friends like it just happened. Like she got friends like yeah, it just out of nowhere. Wasn't no nothing. She friends just came out of nowhere. Um and I remember thinking it's probably because she looks how she looks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like people had questions. Like I remember walking home from school and he was like, hey bro, so and so, where'd she come from? Like I saw her talking to you, bro. Everybody trying to know like where'd she come from? How I remember asking questions thinking, dang, there's a lot of women at this school to be asking questions about this one girl. You know. At that point in time, my crush at that point in time was a girl that played on the basketball team. So you know what I mean? I didn't have the need for people to be super, super girly, you know what I'm saying? This girl put her hair in a ponytail and wore basketball shoes and jeans and shirts, stuff like that. She was regular, right? So um we're gonna wrap it up. We about to hit 60 minutes, about an hour. I try not to make this too long because I think right now, in reality, people are not gonna watch more than about a quarter of this because they don't have. There's not enough traffic. There's not enough right proof in what I'm doing. So as we grow, as we go, we're gonna grow. As we grow, we're gonna add more things. I'm gonna add these reaction videos at some point, and we'll start to get into that a little bit more. And we'll keep creating and we'll keep dropping new content and bringing about new questions. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see how we can get this cracking. Let's see if we can. Let's see how many. Where we could be in terms of subscribers same time next year. Let's see what we can do. All right, I'm gonna holla at y'all. I'm gonna just leave this up.